Welcome to the special offering of Your Neighbor, a Priest, where we'll journey together each week exploring in roughly 5 minutes or less a different element of the Episcopal Church. This final week, we will talk about children, youth, and families and their place in the Episcopal Church. Today, I want to take an opportunity to speak specifically to the reality of St. Stephen's Episcopal Church here in Longview, Washington. But I would venture that most Episcopal churches, anywhere you are likely in line with most of what we practice and offer here. Just like with our welcome at the font and the table, the Episcopal Church, and specifically at St. Stephen's, we welcome children, youth, and families from all walks of life, including blended families, families with a solo parent, and families with grandparents or other family members or other people who are raising children. We welcome children and youth who have special needs, and we will work with your family to make the worship experience as meaningful as possible for your child. We also welcome children and youth who are currently exploring their identity and or identify themselves as part of the LGBTQIA+ community. The Episcopal Church in general, and St. Stephen's in particular, highly values the presence, integration, noise, wonder, joy, questions, and everything else that comes from having children as active members in our pews. At St. Stephen's, we offer specific seating areas for children of different ages and attention spans, inviting them to be full participants in the worship service, in large part because of our firm belief that praying shapes believing, while still making space for them to be kids, whether that be coloring, playing with toys that illustrate biblical stories, or even just dancing to the music. Currently, St. Stephen's invites children to participate in Sunday school every Sunday during our primary worship service at 10:30 a.m., where they're invited to go and experience a simplified format of prayer and story, sharing that relates to the story and themes that we hear in our lectionary readings and in the sermon, before they return to participate in the Eucharist with their family. Older children, that is about 7 or so and up, are invited to be a part of the Sunday school program or to serve as at the altar as acolytes, that is, worship assistants, where they can learn about our worship through hands-on engagement in the service. The youth of our parish, middle and high schoolers, are also invited to serve as acolytes and readers during the worship services, and are invited to participate in our ecumenical, affirming youth group, where all who come are welcomed and affirmed as they are. We currently meet every Sunday at 6 p.m. Parents are invited to participate with their children and youth through volunteering and being with them at Sunday school, and are also welcome to let those who can manage themselves to go on their own. I personally grew up in a small town, attending a small Episcopal church every Sunday, sitting in the pews, learning the rhythm of prayers, the music and the tunes that repeated themselves throughout the year and the years, the stories from the Bible that were new, and those that were familiar from hearing them at the same point of the church year. And as I grew up, I served at the altar as an acolyte, I served as a reader, and eventually as a service leader. That experience shaped a deep understanding of the faith within me and has kept me deeply grounded in my faith throughout my life. The little church I attended didn't often have a lot of the bells and whistles or shiny things of bigger churches that might seem attractive to children and youth. But it didn't matter because I was learning a depth of faith through simply being present and absorbing the liturgy, the Bible stories, the sermons, and the music. And in being present, in being filled with the trueness of church, my praying shaped my own believing. My progressive theology is a byproduct of a deeply held conviction of faith that I learned at an early age. My sense of justice, of morality, of right and wrong in the world was shaped by prayer, by the stories of the Bible, by the words of Jesus Christ that I heard every single week in the liturgy and traditions of the Episcopal Church. This is what the Episcopal Church can offer to you and your family, This is what St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Longview, Washington can offer to you and your family. And I hope that you will join us. Thank you for joining me this week as we've explored what welcoming children, youth, and families means for the Episcopal Church. This is the end of our special series on introducing the Episcopal Church. I hope that I've begun to answer your questions on what we're all about. And I hope that you will come and join us on a Sunday or for a special event or worship offering to check us out. Until then, may God's blessing be with you, and know that my door is always open if you have more questions. Just drop me an email at nic@sslv.org, and we can find a time to meet, share a cup of coffee or tea, and talk more about this church that I love.